Okay, so last night I was watching a video by Frank Yang where he's talking about how he was kind of depressed, I think, at the time he made the video, but he was talking about how um, pretty much all of our labor and all the things we do every day is fruitless. And he was kind of mad, like all the work he has to do just to exist, and you know, at the end of the day, he thought that it was all for nothing. And I kind of disagree with that. I think that the one thing we really do get out of our work is pleasure or happiness. And pretty much that's why I'm making this video. I wanted to think about, I thought the only fruit of our labor is pleasure, happiness, and things like that, like eating good food or having sex or playing video games or watching movies, reading books, music, things like that. That's like what those are like the rewards for our work. So pretty much what I want you guys to take out of this video is I want you guys to realize that in life you should try to do two things, or like one thing combined, and that's maximize your pleasure or happiness while at the same time getting the minimal amount of work for the most pleasure. And I think that's the best way to live life, because who wants to work really hard and not get much out of it. So anyway, there are a lot of different paths you can take in life, but let's just look at some of the examples and like how much pleasure and how much work there is involved in these paths. So like you could have one extreme. You become a drug addict, and there's a lot of pleasure at the beginning of that. You're taking drugs, like hard drugs, like let's say you're a heroin addict. That's going to be really pleasurable at the beginning. You're going to be having a lot of pleasure for almost no work at all. All you have to do is just inject something into your body, and then you have probably one of the best feelings you could have in this life. And that's one extreme. But the downside of that is it won't last long, and it will stop feeling as good, and you will never be able to get that feeling back that you had at the beginning. So that's not really a good path, because it won't last long. You won't have pleasure for a long amount of time. Okay? And then you could have another path. You could do the pretty much cookie cutter path that everyone wants you to do nowadays, which is go to college and just get a 9-to-5 job. And it's really not that pleasure. You don't get much pleasure from that. And you do kind of have to work decently hard for it. So I'm not really sure if that's the best path either. It's definitely better than becoming a drug addict, but there really isn't that much pleasure in working a 9-to-5 job. So you need to find something that you actually enjoy doing and try to get paid for doing that. And that's probably the hardest thing to do. Find something that you love to do that you can actually get paid to do, paid well to do. But anyway, and then there's the other extreme. You could make your own business and work extremely hard, and get a lot of money, but at the same time you're putting so much work into it that is the work that you're putting in really worth the amount of pleasure that you're getting through the money that you earn? I mean, sure, if you own your own business and work really hard, you would be getting a lot of money. You would be making a lot of capital, but at the end of the day, is it really worth it? Because you're spending the majority of your time working and you're not able to experience the simple pleasures that most people who work a 9 to 5 job can, like watching movies or, you know, doing things like that, because you're so busy all the time. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Um, the last thing is, I just want to ask you guys out there, what path do you think is the best for maximizing pleasure and having a minimal amount of work involved? What do you think the best path is to get a good ratio between pleasure to work? You know, what life path would give you the best ratio there? That's pretty much what I want to ask. Comment below. I'll put the Frank Yang video that I watched in the description. I think it's kind of interesting. I think he's an interesting guy, Frank Yang. I love watching his videos. But yeah, that's pretty much it for now. See you guys in another video.